The Razerblade 15 2020 Advanced Model. You are here because you want to find out if this laptop is worth it or not. Short answer, yes. But the bigger question is it as good as this laptop right here? And for that, we need to have a talk. So, in my opinion, the Razerblade 15 2020 Advanced Model is a sight for sore Windows eyes. I gotta say that, man. I've sampled so many Windows laptops out there, and by and large, none of them came even close to what this guy offers in terms of functionality, portability, design, thermals. I can't help but compare every single Windows laptop out there, including the gaming laptops. And since this guy is a gaming laptop, I wanted to know how good this thing is. The build quality of this laptop blew me away. The CNC aluminum reminded me of the MacBook Pro, and this is one of the best reasons I actually fell in love with this laptop. But every time, I couldn't help but compare it with this, because this is still, in my opinion, the king of laptops. And this was the only Windows laptop out there that was good enough, or good enough to be compared to a MacBook Pro. So, why did I like this Razerblade? All right, build quality, 10th gen Intel chips, upgradable memory up to 64 GB, and of course, the best part is an Nvidia 2080 Super Max Q. All of that in a very thin form factor. Some of the Windows games, man, out there, they just looked ridiculous, like spaceships and RGB lighting and unwieldy designs. I mean, I gotta show you this one. Check out this monster right here. Look at this. This is the Asus G7 5ZVY. This was, I think, a 2016 laptop. Man, oh my God, it weighs a ton. So, you know what I mean. But this thing, man, has the best thermals I've ever seen in a laptop. Windows laptops are not really that elegant compared to MacBook Pros, especially gaming laptops. They have all these funky looking, weird looking RGB spaceship designs, but this Razerblade is so sexy. That is the word that I was looking for. Sexy, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Because it comes with a thin form factor. I mean, look at this. A thin form factor that just makes you fall in love with it. The base model has a 6-core 10th gen Intel Core i7 CPU, and you can spec it out to an 8-core 10th gen Intel Core i7. I recommend that one for graphics intensive applications as well as gaming. The base model gives you up to a 2070 RTX Super, whereas the advanced model gives you all the way up to 2080 Super Max Q. As for the display, the base model gives you 144 Hz FHD, or you can get to choose the OLED 4K model as well, whereas the advanced model gives you 300 Hz FHD, or you can also have the OLED if you want to. Now, a bit of advice here. If you're a content creator and you're not into gaming and all that stuff, and you're not really worried about battery life, I suggest you go for the OLED 4K Touch. It's really nice, and the color gamut is there. As for the base model, 144 Hz is also not a bad idea for gaming. 300 Hz is nice to have, but it's overkill because most of the games can't run at 300 Hz. I mean, the graphics card does not push that high unless you lower the graphics setting. As for the storage, for the base model, it's up to 512 PCIe. My advice to you, don't get this, because I actually got the base model in the beginning. I had the 512, and then I had to exchange that with the advanced model. Because 512, come on guys, let's just be honest. 512 is no longer adequate these days. Call of Duty alone is about 120 gigabytes. Come on. If you want to use this laptop for gaming and other stuff as well, just a few games, 2 or 3 games, come on, man. That's not enough. So you need to get the 1 terabyte, or if you're planning to upgrade in the future, just keep that in mind. 512 is no longer enough for gaming laptops, in my opinion. You get 16 GBs of RAM, upgradable all the way to 64. The base model gives you heat pipes. The advanced model gives you vapor chamber. Of course, vapor chamber is better than heat pipes, but I'm going to talk about the thermals in a bit. Now the keyboards. The keyboards are pretty interesting. For the base model, you get the single zone RGB Razer Chroma, whereas the advanced model gives you a per key RGB Razer Chroma. And in my opinion, Razer has done the best RGB implementation in a gaming laptop. The base model gives you an Ethernet port, whereas the advanced model gives you an SD card reader. The base model is a tad thicker than the advanced model, which in my opinion is not very sightly. I think I like the advanced model more. An ideal port selection, oh my God. I mean, seriously, I can't remember the last time I fell in love with this. The port selection on this thing is just incredible, which you can't find on the MacBook Pro. You've got an SD card reader. You've got Thunderbolt 3 USB-C and USB Type-C. You've got HDMI 2.0. You've got a USB Type-A. And you've got an Ethernet port, but that's for the base model. And it also features Wi-Fi 6, which is 802.11ax, Bluetooth 5.1, and Thunderbolt 3. The keyboard is meh for me, honestly. It's a little bit mushy. It feels okay, don't get me wrong, but it's not that. As you'd expect from an RTX 2080 Super Max Q, the gaming performance on this machine is top notch. I'm playing Deus Ex and I'm getting more than 110 frame rates per second, which is incredible for a graphics intensive game like this. So expect to be able to play almost all of the games on the highest settings possible with an RTX 2080 Super. The touchpad, I was impressed honestly with the touchpad. For a long time, I was looking for a touchpad that could be as good as the MacBook Pro's touchpad. This expansive touchpad, this gigantic touchpad right there. This touchpad is unrivaled when it comes to accuracy and precision. And I finally found a Windows laptop that is almost as accurate as the MacBook Pro's touchpad. But for me, the main problem with the Razer's touchpad is that it's a little bit of a hit and miss in terms of palm rejection. Palm rejection drove me crazy whenever I try to type something. I don't know, man. I think I was just spoiled with how Apple trackpads work. And I was unable to type on this Razerblade without accidentally clicking on things with my palm and moving the cursor around. So the cursor keeps jumping from one place to another. So that is a little bit of a hit and miss for me for the Razerblade. But apart from that, the precision of this glass trackpad is incredible. I love it. One of the big problems for Windows laptops for me was the trackpad. Most of the Windows laptops had horrible trackpads, especially the ones with the physical buttons at the bottom. I hate those, man. Once you get used to the trackpads on the Macs, you can't use the Windows trackpad. Speaking of the chassis, this laptop attracts fingerprints. It's a fingerprint magnet. It is more than a magnet. I've never seen a laptop that leaves that many fingerprints on it. The first thing that I like to do whenever I get a new laptop is to apply a skin on it from dbrand. High quality skins for your laptop. This way you protect your laptop from scratches and in this case from fingerprints as well. This is the first time I'm using Windows Hello, and I love it, and I think all laptops should have Windows Hello. I can't wait for the Macs to have Face ID on the Macs. Now, the Macs have Touch ID, and that's great. It's very secure. It's got the T2 chip. But Windows Hello is incredible. You don't even have to touch the computer. The speakers on this thing were somehow disappointing, but they were much better than all of the other Windows speakers I've found out there, especially the gaming speakers. The Mac speakers are still unrivaled, and I have no idea why. Man, I need better lighting for my videos, and that's exactly why I got this. Today I'm going to review the Viltrox. What's it? Oh. That was pretty good. Man, I need better lighting for my videos, and that's exactly why I got this. Today I'm going to review the Viltrox. The laptop comes with a 230-watt charger. Now, this is smaller than the other gaming laptop chargers I've seen, but in comparison to the MacBook Pro, it's huge, honestly, for me. The cables are braided, it's proprietary as well, but it will fray over time. All right, so now when it comes to thermals, what do I think about thermals? The Razer 2020 Advanced model has good thermals compared to a laptop that is this thin. But the problem is with these kind of laptops, you can't get around physics. When you have a thin form factor like this, you will have difficulties trying to cool it down. No matter what you call it, vapor chamber, advanced thermal pipes, bigger fans, nano, whatever Razer calls it. So the problem is there is no getting around physics. This laptop that I have right here, this beast that I have right here, the Asus, I can comfortably game on this thing for hours and it will never, ever heat up. But when I play on the Razer, despite the fact that Razer has done a really good job with the thermals, I mean, the temperatures don't go above 75. Somewhere between 70 to 75. It doesn't go above 75. So although Razer has done a really good job when it comes to the thermals, I gotta say I was extremely impressed with the fans on this thing. This laptop is super dead quiet, just like my MacBook Pro, just like the way I like it. I hate noisy laptops. I hate noisy fans. This laptop is really quiet, except under heavy load like gaming or video editing. The fans don't even move. I mean, I checked this out. It's incredible. And there's one thing that disappointed me with my MacBook Pro, and I found it to be extremely amazing with the Razer. When I connect my 4K monitor to the MacBook Pro is overheating. The temperatures reach about 75. I have no idea why. When I tried my Razer, the laptop is very cool at around 35 degrees Celsius. So that's a big yes to Razer. I commend you for that. There's one thing that all of the YouTubers forget to talk about. I don't know why they're not talking about this. I mean, I've seen a bunch of other YouTube channels and YouTube videos about the Razerblade. A lot of them are saying that the Razerblade has excellent thermals, well, maybe not excellent, but very good thermals in comparison to the Alienwares and the Dells and whatever out there. But why isn't anybody talking about the battery life? We all know that the higher the temperature, the worse it is for your battery. In fact, if you are having a temperature that is above 60 degrees Celsius, that's going to kill your battery in the long run. And I've heard and read about horror stories, unfortunately, of people talking about bulging batteries for Razer laptops 2018, 2019. I was actually concerned about that too for my laptop. I don't want this beautiful piece of technology to look bad, and I don't want it to fail. No matter what kind of laptop you have, my MacBook Pro right now, this will fail in a relatively short period of time if I constantly subject it to thermal abuse. The laptop battery is not built to withstand temperatures that are above 60 degrees Celsius for the long run. So, that being said, I believe I found a solution. If you're interested in finding the solution for the Razerblade laptops, watch my next video. I'm going to be making a special video on how to cool your Razer laptop, and it actually worked for me. It might work for you. I'd rather do this than risk my battery dying, or worse, bulging out of its body. All right, so we talked about thermals. Performance. This laptop is excellent. The benchmarks are all over the place. If you want to know more about benchmarks, they are everywhere out there. Just a simple Google search will give you all the benchmarks you want. The good thing about the Razerblade 2020 Advanced model is that it does not throttle like the other laptops out there. Some of the other manufacturers, these laptops throttle, but this one does not under heavy load, and you're getting 8 cores with the 10th gen CPU. That's excellent for video editing and for intensive gaming as well. RAM. You can upgrade the RAM up to 64 gigabytes, but I'm not sure about the compatibility of 3200 RAM. I need to check that. What else? Battery life. Speaking of battery life, you will be getting around 5 to 5.5 hours of battery life on this thing, even though if you truly decrease the brightness and keep it on the power saving mode and all of that, maybe you might push it to 7 hours, but that is a maybe. You see, the problem with these kind of laptops, I mean, this is a beast. This lasts 11 hours of use, and it does not throttle. The performance does not go down when you're not using the battery. This lasts between 5 to 7 hours. So, I think Razer did an excellent job trying to balance power, thermals, performance, all these things. It's not easy to have all these things in one thin form factor. I mean, look how thin these machines are. Of course, the MacBook Pro is thinner than this. I kind of feel like it's half this thing, almost half. But the point is, well done, Razer. I commend you on your product. I mean, I was completely blown away. I never thought that I'm going to come back to Windows. I never thought that there is a Windows machine out there that is good enough for my MacBook Pro.